You're listening to the Digital Deep Dive, where we tackle the newest trends, strategies, and pain points shaping growth across the digital landscape. From Amazon and D2C to international expansion, join our host and e-commerce leaders across multiple industries for in-depth discussions on how to maximize your brands in the digital arena. Now, here's your host, Aaron Conant.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Deep Dive podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Conant, and today we're going to dive into streaming TV ads. I have a longtime friend, former president over at Perpetua. She had a pretty nice exit over into Essential, which then got rolled up, I think, underneath the sale over to Omnicom of Flywheel as a whole. But just a longtime friend and expert in the paid media space, Adam Epstein. And super happy to have you on today. I'd love to kick it over to you, to give some of your background, like the backstory, and then let's jump into Gigi as a whole and what you've built here and what does it look like and the why, and just have a fun conversation. Does that sound good?
Aaron, it's fantastic. Really happy to be here. And yeah, so let's talk about streaming TV ads, particularly Amazon streaming TV ads. Adam, one of the co-founders and CEO of Gigi, we help brands and agencies buy Amazon streaming TV ads with the power of Amazon's DSP, Amazon Marketing Cloud, and first-party data collaboration. But as you mentioned, this isn't the first time we spoke. We've known each other for several years. I was previously co-president at Perpetua. For many people that are in the Amazon ad space or new to the Amazon ad space, Perpetua, a pretty large Amazon ad partner. We were particularly good at building tools that allowed brands and agencies to buy Amazon's on-site sponsored ads. Grew to almost $1 billion in managed ad spend over a 5-year period, thousands of customers spread across the globe, and ultimately sold to Essential in 2021. At Essential, we are part of their digital commerce arm, in addition to Flywheel, Edge, and a number of other brands. They eventually sold that digital commerce arm this past year to Omnicom for a little over $800 million. So awesome experience. Love all my friends at Perpetua and Flywheel still to this day. They're doing amazing things. But a little over a year and a half ago, I left to start this company, Gigi. And so there was a couple things that I started to notice and thought would be really good opportunities for building a new business within the Amazon ad space. So one of the things that we noticed was that the growth of on-site sponsored ads was starting to plateau. If you think about how on-site sponsored ads would grow, there are two primary vehicles for doing so. One is introducing new ad inventory. And I'm not sure if you've been on Amazon.com anytime recently, but everything is already an ad. So there's not too many inventory placements to introduce. And then two, CPCs increase. And over the 2 years prior to me leaving Perpetua, CPCs actually flatlined and in some instances decreased on a quarter-on-quarter basis for the first time that I had certainly seen within working with Amazon ads. So the growth wouldn't necessarily be in sponsored ads, but the growth was certainly starting to manifest itself at the top of the funnel. And by the top of the funnel, I particularly mean Amazon streaming TV ads. We saw quite clearly that Amazon was making significant investments in unlocking TV rights in sports, in investing in their content, and investing in their ad tech to ultimately build better audiences and measure what people did, outcome-based measurement after seeing a streaming TV ad. And that ad tech that I mentioned is particularly Amazon Marketing Cloud. So Perpetua, for however long it's existed, leaned in very heavily into Amazon Marketing Cloud. We have a team of about 8 to 10 folks whose sole job it was to experiment with Amazon Marketing Cloud and extract as much value as possible for our end clients. And one of the killer use cases that we noticed really early on was that Amazon Marketing Cloud was particularly impactful for measuring outcomes post STV ad exposures. So not necessarily sales, not necessarily ROAS, but outcomes. What did people do after seeing the streaming TV ad? And that could consist of, did they ultimately lead to a sale? Did they perform differently than folks that didn't see the streaming TV ad? And how they interacted with your other Amazon ad units was particularly impactful for telling a holistic story of what happened and the effect of your streaming TV ad efforts. So that was one key learning that we had with respect to Amazon Marketing Cloud after my time at Perpetua. The other thing that I kind of noticed about the space more broadly is that we had this like very weird bifurcation between your DSP metrics and your AMC metrics. And it makes sense, right? One is a separate portal that comes the Amazon DSP. The other is this very technical interface that requires deep SQL knowledge and deep expertise of knowing what to query. And so very naturally, tool providers and agencies created this bifurcation. In some instances, an agency would present, hey, here's your DSP metrics associated with your advertising campaigns, and here's 3 or 4 slides, and we're going to bring the analyst in to explain your AMC metrics. Or invariably, a lot of the tool providers in this space were starting to build modules that were specific to Amazon Marketing Cloud. And so you could use Amazon Marketing Cloud and use some of these modules to build audiences, to run a specific report. But it always lived as this separate beast outside of the overall holistic picture of what your strategy was. And so rather than focusing on like what that means for your entire business, we thought that there was going to be a unique opportunity to really tell a holistic story across the Amazon DSP and Amazon Marketing Cloud on how your TV campaigns were doing as one unified view. So, for example, in the GG product, we just show you a dashboard with a bunch of metrics. We don't even tell you what's an AMC metrics or a DSP metric. We just show you how your campaign is doing. You can build audiences within the GG product. You can build in-market lifestyle audiences from the DSP, or you can build really powerful lookalike audiences using Amazon Marketing Cloud to build seed audiences. And you don't know if it's an API call coming from the DSP or a 50-line SQL query coming from Amazon Marketing Cloud. So our view was that we wanted to obfuscate the notion of a query entirely and just create this one unified view to really give you a full picture of how you can plan, buy, measure, and activate your streaming TV campaigns with Amazon in one single workflow.
Yeah. I want to pull into that streaming, the ads, just that thread a bunch, actually. I was going to say just a little bit, but actually it's going to be a ton because I see it as it's coming up now, like DSP was popping up 2 or 3 years ago, where completely under indexed. And those brands that were jumping in, we're seeing there was so much inventory available, like on the low hanging, you didn't even have to use it for like top of funnel. You could just go after bottom of funnel, and they were just crushing it on the DSP side. But there was very few people jumping in because I think prior to that, anybody old school on Amazon knew the AMG platform and AMG and their halo effect, where you can never have any insights. But they said, hey, look at, your ROAS was 0.7, but with a halo effect, the ROAS was 18. And everybody was looking at their numbers saying, well, I'm not up 18x on that product. So how is it, 18? And so there's a little bit of hesitation to jump into DSP. And then, we got to this point where then it's almost a requirement now once you've met a spend. And it's different now, or it used to be completely fill up, your I'm going to go old AMS, right? PPC side, then break into DSP. And now it's almost essential you have this combination of both. That then in my mind, streaming TV is like where DSP was. Are you getting that same feeling? I mean, you've lived in this space. Are you getting that same feeling where people are just a little apprehensive to jump into it?
Yeah. So I think it's important to create distinctions between the tools that Amazon provides and the actual advertising strategy that you're hoping to employ. Right. So for sure, Amazon sponsored ads are an incredibly powerful ad unit. I just lived the past 5 years in Amazon sponsored ad software. Every single brand should be maxing out the bottom of the funnel on Amazon sponsored ads and focusing as much on incrementality and driving news and driving sales, protecting your brand on Amazon sponsored ads. Without question, that is important, and it's very, very powerful. Over the past 4 to 5 years, also, a lot of people have been experimenting with the Amazon DSP. And the Amazon DSP can unlock a variety of different ad formats, whether that be display ads for retargeting, whether that be audio ads, or now whether that be streaming TV ads. And I think that if we think about the advertising tactic that most folks have when it comes to streaming TV, it's really about awareness. It's really about driving new to brand sales and getting incremental reach on new customers. And the mechanism with which people historically did that on the Amazon DSP would just be running an OLV campaign, online video campaign, that would appear on the same inventory as a static display ad, but building audiences that were focused on driving new to brand sales and incremental reach. And now the key difference that I think exists now relative to the past few years was the massive announcement earlier this year in which Amazon turned ads on by default on Prime Video globally. And that unlocked an insane amount of inventory to their TV properties. And not just an insane amount of inventory, an insane amount of premium inventory. So historically, if you thought about Amazon's TV advertising business, that inventory was spread across 2 to 3 buckets. So one of those buckets would be Amazon's FAST service, Freevee. The other would be Twitch. And the other would be a host of third-party publishers and apps within the Amazon Fire TV or the Amazon Prime Video ecosystem. Now, though, Prime Video ads unlocks premium inventory. It's the type of stuff that high potential buyers for any brand is going to be watching, garnering a high degree of reach as well. And with that premium inventory comes more premium prices. So CPMs are a little bit higher than what they were before, but it unlocks this incredible ability to leverage Amazon's existing ad tech for TV efforts. So what do I mean by that? Amazon has done an incredible job of building tools for both audience creation and measurement, and in particular for commerce brands. And by commerce brands, I qualify that as brands who are endemic to advertise Amazon, i.e. sell on Amazon, and brands who have first-party transactional data on a D2C site. For those transactional commerce brands, the Amazon DSP, by incorporating transactional signals from Amazon and transactional first-party signals, and Amazon Marketing Cloud providing a mechanism for collaborating those first-party transactional signals, now has this unrivaled capability out of any other channel, awareness channel that you could possibly have at building the best possible audiences through some of these transactional signals and capturing as many possible outcomes from post-TV ad exposure as possible. So it's really this confluence of a few really impactful things. One, the unlock of Amazon Prime Video ads to create more inventory and create a bigger TAM for the Amazon streaming TV environment. But also it's the maturation of Amazon's ad tech such that the Amazon DSP and Amazon Marketing Cloud for first-party data collaboration have really become this powerful 1-2 punch in which any commerce brand should be funneling more and more of their awareness budget outside of other channels into the Amazon ad ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I see there's just a report like as cable TV continues to die off, right? This idea of putting the ads in front of people in front of a screen while they're watching a long-term video rather than just, something on a TikTok. We can maybe jump into TikTok, but I think you're right. I mean, the with the Marketing Cloud, to be able to even put a pixel on your direct to consumer site, get the purest form of your customer, right? Pull that in and do, build custom audiences off from that. And then rather than traditional, right? Like TV ads, which is just the spray and pray, you're able to be incredibly targeted with the exact, demographic that you're going after regionally with everything you can do within DSP to create those custom audiences and what you're serving them. And it's pretty non-intrusive. I mean, we watch Prime Video all the time, and we put on a movie last night, it opens up with a single commercial and then nothing interrupts it the whole time. It's near seamless. It's 15 seconds or whatever. Who cares? But yeah, I think if you have enough budget, but that's what we should probably get into. What do the budgets for these look like? And then are we getting to, at what point in time is this table stakes, I guess, are the two questions. How big is the budget? Does somebody need to have? And then at what point in time does this become table stakes?
I think that's a great question. So streaming TV ads aren't for everyone. Amazon might tell you that streaming TV ads are for everyone, but I'm not going to tell you that streaming TV ads are for everyone. There's a certain type of brand with which streaming TV ads are particularly effective and should be table stakes within your advertising strategy. So one, we spoke about sponsored ads. Once your sponsored ads are starting to plateau on incrementality and you feel as though there's nothing that you can do to generate more searches for your brand or your category, and you really need to create a new category or create interest and steal share, that's when you should start thinking about an awareness strategy. So like as a rule of thumb, two things that I like to say is if you're not spending at least $250,000 a month or near $250,000 a month on Amazon ads as a whole, spread across sponsored ads and your DSP strategy, honestly, streaming TV ads might not be for you. It would probably behoove you to spend a little bit more on sponsored ads, really, really capture all of the latent demand at the bottom of the funnel before you're willing to invest in awareness strategies. However, if you exceed that threshold of $250,000 a month on sponsored ads plus DSP, you're likely in a position in which you need to grow share, create awareness, and reach new potential customers that may not be searching your product or category. And that's when you should be investing in TV ads. And so one, you asked budget. I like to think that your budget should be at least 10% of your total Amazon advertising spend. So if you're at $250,000 across everything, an incremental $25,000 for TV is a sufficient amount. And the reason why I say 10%, you're not going to see an immediate correlation of click to sale in 24 hours as you do with sponsored ads that you will with TV. And with TV, you need to invest a sufficiently large enough amount such that it's actually going to have an impact on your overall business. So if it's too small, like let's say it's like, for argument's sake, let's say it's 1% of that and it's $2,500 and you're spending $250,000. It's like a needle in a haystack, right? Like you're not going to be able to move a mark and leave a dent on any of your TV efforts. And it's really just not worth the time. You have to make an investment in awareness campaigns. And so that's one aspect, is I would say at least 10% of your overall Amazon ad spend. Now, the other question is for brands that are already spending on TV, that already have an awareness or TV budget, how should Amazon play within that? And I think this is where it gets to an interesting conversation. So brands might spread their TV budget across other third-party DSPs like DV360 for buying YouTube ads or Trade Desk for buying ads on other TV publishers. Or there are a variety of emergent TV agencies or TV platforms that map via IP address mapping TV ad exposure to conversions on a D2C site. Now, if you cobble that all together and deem that your TV budget, how much should Amazon streaming TV be for your TV budget? Our perspective is that your Amazon streaming TV budget should be directly proportionate to the amount of sales that you're getting from Amazon and your first-party sources. So, for example, if you're a brand and 50% of your sales comes from the combination of Amazon and your DTC site. First, this is a topic that we can get into in a little bit. One, you should absolutely be collaborating your first-party data with Amazon Marketing Cloud, so you're able to capture all of these outcomes from the TV ad exposure. But if you're a brand who 35% of your sales are coming from Amazon and 15% of your sales are coming from your first-party source, so 50% of your sales are coming from Amazon plus D2C, then it's very likely that 50% of your total sales or total TV budget should be coming from the Amazon streaming TV properties. And the reason I say that is it all comes down to measurement. And so one of the core benefits, and you alluded to this a moment ago, one of the core benefits of investing in streaming TV versus like linear TV is you're able to measure those outcomes. Since it's a logged in user on a streaming service and a logged in user on your D2C channel or on Amazon, you're able to map TV ad exposure to outcomes. And now the further up the funnel you go, the less control you have as to where people convert. So it would behoove you to capture as many places as possible on where people convert when you're measuring your STV campaign. Now, we just use that, Brian, as an example. Let's say 50% of all other sales are spread across a bunch of different retailers. The unfortunate reality is with the way those retailers share data with ad platforms or amongst each other, you're not going to be able to cobble together anywhere close to 50% of your total sales. In fact, it'll probably be single digits for everything. Maybe an enterprise brand has a lion's share of those sales coming from Walmart because Walmart's the largest retailer. But invariably, it's going to be anywhere between single digit to low teens on one of those channels being able to provide signal data on audience creation and measurement. And so Amazon has this incredible opportunity in which a significant amount of your sales are coming from there. You're bringing together your D2C sales, which capture another 10 to 15%. And on account of that, your budget should reflect where your sales are coming from on the whole. That's where I think it gets an important conversation for the brands that you talk to, Aaron. You know, many of these brands might be thinking about their first TV campaigns, but invariably the scaling brands that you and I talk to every day, those are the ones that are investing in awareness campaigns across the board. And the question isn't, how do I augment my Amazon budget to fit in streaming TV ads, but rather, how do I shift budget from other awareness channels to Amazon streaming TV to better reflect where my sales are coming from? And if your sales are coming, a lot of your sales are coming from both Amazon and D2C channels, then a lot of your TV budget should be coming from Amazon streaming TV.
Yeah. I mean, you started to touch on it. That was the next question I had, is where's the budget coming from? Because, I mean, we're at a point now where people set their budgets for the year. Obviously, we're getting into Q4 and they don't know necessarily what to set it for next year. But are you saying like a lot of times this budget is coming from the traditional TV budget and it should still fall to there? Because a lot of times there's the pushback from the teams because, oh, well, you know, that's just Amazon. Or aren't you seeing that?
Well, I think the lines are blurring. That's the beauty of commerce media. I think the category that we all live in is that the lines are blurring between where these budgets are coming from. Is this trade budget? Is this retail media? Is this awareness or TV? Ultimately, what we've seen is that brands are investing in top of funnel awareness campaigns on their DSP, Amazon DSP strategy. And as part of that, they're starting to incorporate Amazon streaming TV ads. The next step is creating an always-on TV strategy with Amazon and saying to the broader marketing org, where else are we investing awareness dollars? And where else do we believe these awareness dollars can match the audience targeting and measurement capabilities of Amazon's ad tech? And invariably, the opportunity that we see for both Gigi, for Amazon ads, and for many brands on the whole is more and more brands should and are shifting their budget to Amazon because they're wildly impressed by the capabilities that Amazon has provided in measuring the effectiveness of their TV efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about it from just, you know, a bunch of me search when I'm there. If you're going to show me a CPG product that I like, you could influence me to go buy it, but I'm probably not going to jump to Amazon and buy it. Probably just going to get it the next shopping run. On the flip side, if you show me something cool in a different category that's like tech, then I'll probably jump out to Amazon and buy it. So, I mean, I don't know, brands will probably look at it, you know, on a one-off basis originally, but I can't disagree with you. I think not only the capabilities for targeting, but the reporting now, including the new to brand metric that comes out of the marketing cloud, the amount of data that you have to justify the spend, it's hard for them to get anywhere else, right? It's just hard to get. And I think
it's impossible just because no other channel is as large of a sales channel for many brands as Amazon. That's ultimately what it comes down to is no other combination of retailer plus first party site captures as much wallet share for many brands as Amazon and a D2C site. And so on account of that, no other channel for awareness campaigns is going to be as effective as measuring the overall lift on your brand and the sales that your brand can generate from TV as streaming TV ads.
Yeah. It is going to be table stakes really quick. Just
for larger scaling brands and
Yeah.
enterprise brands, for sure. And the time is now. It's still early days. The time is now. Talk to your Amazon sales reps or at least listen to them, because I'm sure they're talking to you about this already. But there's massive opportunities for brands that are investing in this right now. And the key thing here is really, one, ensuring that you're, whether it be working with us, GG, or working with an agency that knows how to get the full potential out of Amazon's ad tech, or building those audiences and measuring the outcomes post STV ad exposure. That I think is the key. Is that, one of the things that we used to say at Perpetua was that if you're running streaming TV campaigns and you're not using the full suite of Amazon Marketing Cloud to effectively measure those campaigns, you're really flying blind. And now at GG, I'll even take that one step further. If you're running streaming TV campaigns with Amazon and you're not collaborating your first party data, you're really missing out on an opportunity to tell a much more holistic story of the effect of TV on your overall brand. And if you don't mind, I'd love to dive into that, of like first party data collaboration on Amazon, because we've seen a lot of brands struggle with thinking about how to collaborate with first party signals. And the reason being is the incumbent means of doing so have been fraught with limitations and hurdles. So, one example would be creating just CSV uploads that you send to an agency who then sends it into Amazon Marketing Cloud. And so, why is that bad? Well, one, someone has to hash emails, and invariably PII data is exposed to either someone on your team, or PII data is exposed to your agency, which is very bad. Or you're just sending PII data into Amazon in the DSP as an example. And I know that many brands have a hesitancy towards sending data into Amazon for a variety of different reasons. So that's one. The other is the Amazon ad tag is an interesting tool for first party data collaboration, but that's challenging in and of itself. So one, you have to actually implement the tag and ensure that your agency knows how to append it to each order in the DSP. That takes technical resources. There's limitations with the Amazon ad tag. There's signal loss for people with ad blockers, and there's signal loss for people with certain browser plugins. The ad tag only begins capturing data from when the ad tag was implemented. So if you're building audiences, you actually want as wide of a range of potential purchasers for building an audience, but the ad tag is going to be limited to when you initially did so. And so that's one. There's the conversion API, which generally speaking has most of the same limitations as the Amazon ad tag. And so we really sought to change that. So at GG, we thought to ourselves, how can we create as frictionless, lightweight manner possible of collaborating first party data that was in the most private, secure manner possible, in which PII data was exposed to absolutely nobody, that brought in as much rich metadata as possible of your transactional first party signals. And so what we created is something that we call the GG1P platform. And so the GG1P platform is a framework and a set of tools that allows any brand to collaborate their first party data with Amazon, wherever their first party data might be. So let's use an example of Shopify. If a brand wants to collaborate my first party signals from Shopify with Amazon ads for better audiences and measurement, I can literally do that in a couple of clicks. We, GG, will send an agency or we'll send the brand a link. You authenticate your Shopify store. We immediately, ingest all of your data, but encrypt all of your PII data before ingestion, enterprise grade encryption methodology. And we created a custom data model to read in as much rich Shopify metadata into Amazon Marketing Cloud as possible, that then the agency can effectively build audiences in a couple clicks based on Shopify purchasing history and Amazon purchasing history, and also provide that omni-channel, deterministic omni-channel reporting across both Amazon and Shopify. So let's use it like a couple examples of what that actually means. A common tactic for streaming TV ads is to focus on new to brand customers only. And new to brand customers historically has only been new to brand customers to Amazon, which is only, as we mentioned, like a sliver of one's total sales. But through first party data collaboration, you're now able to exclude past purchasers across both of those channels. And if you use the Amazon ad tag properly, you can exclude past product views across both of those channels. And we enable that in a couple clicks to any agency with no code or no technical requirements. Another thing would be when you're building seed audiences for something like, if I want to create a lookalike audience against my highest AOV customers, so my biggest spenders of the past year, hey, Amazon, go find me 10 million people that look like the top 80th percentile of my biggest spending customers over the past year. Well, I don't want to limit that to Amazon only. I have this rich transactional signals from my D2C site. And I know that some of my customers aren't limited to purchasing on one channel. They might purchase on Amazon and D2C. I want to capture all of those transactions and creating a fuller profile of, first off, who those customers are in that top 80th percentile, and then what transactions they're making across both of those channels. So again, we enable that across both channels. And then finally, the other one is what I've been mentioning of capturing as many sales as possible. Once you have that TV ad, if you're want to determine first touch ROAS or linear ROAS or assisted sales, which is metrics that we provide in our product, you want to capture as many sales as possible post STB ad exposure. And by bringing in first party signals, we've automatically created the reporting queries and data models to enable that for all of our customers. And so that's why we believe first party data collaboration is really impactful, is because you're really able to build better audiences and build better measurement. And Amazon's built a host of tools for people to do that. But one, the incumbent out of the box means of collaborating first party data with Amazon are a little challenging and have a high degree of limitation. And then two, this just isn't the type of thing that an agency should be doing. An agency should be guiding advertising strategy. An agency should be executing campaigns based on the business objectives of the customers. An agency shouldn't be creating like custom data pipelines and data models for their customers. That's what we do. And then we empower our agencies to do what they do best, which is guiding that advertising strategy and executing campaigns on behalf of their customers.
Yeah. Awesome. I want to tackle one other thing, which is people perpetually think that they are behind. How many people are behind in this right now? Like what percentage of brands are using this?
That's a good question. So I think there's degrees of behind. So let's assume you're managing you're activating streaming TV ads with Amazon, you're of the sufficient size, and your Amazon streaming TV ads are part of your always on strategy. I think we're at the point right now in which almost every single one of those advertisers on Amazon that are activating on streaming TV ads, I wouldn't say every single one, but we're probably at like a 60 to 80% overlap of that. They're using AMC in some capacity to measure the effectiveness of their streaming TV efforts. And in some capacity, it's typically using the instructional query library that lives on Amazon that any agency has access to, using a lot of these like out of the box AMC modules that other tool providers have that have a set of built out reports, but aren't specific to streaming TV. So like someone on our team always talks about like purchase paths. So like purchase paths are like the classic, hey, saw a streaming TV ad, saw a DSP ad, saw a sponsored brand ad, saw a sponsored product ad, then converted. And most of every agency or tool provider that we've seen invariably measures their streaming TV campaigns based on purchase paths. And we asked ourselves why. Why does everyone look at like what is actually actionable about looking at a purchase path report within AMC? How does that then thereafter guide your advertising strategy? Okay, cool. There were 5 other touch points along the path to purchase, and someone interacted with streaming TV and sponsored brands. Cool. I already spend money on sponsored ads. I always spend money on sponsored product ads. I'm not changing my sponsored product or sponsored brand ad strategy at all based on the fact that there are now 5 touch points post STV ad exposure, or this was the most popular purchase path. There's nothing really actionable behind that. And so we asked ourselves that question. And so you asked how many people are behind in this. I think that people are still just scratching the surface of what Amazon Marketing Cloud can provide. But why we're so fired up about this and we're so excited about this opportunity is I don't think anyone is really thinking about how can we leverage all of Amazon's advertising tech to build the best possible streaming TV experience for planning, buying, activating, and measuring. And a lot of customers have a visceral reaction the moment that they see what our product offers and the value that it can provide them. And they then start to realize that they're, I don't want to say behind, as you said, but they can enhance their experience if their agency were to adopt our product to help them with their streaming TV efforts.
Yeah, I think, they're behind where the tech is at, but they're not behind 99% of other brands. They're all there in the pack. There's a huge group now, right, that's come a long way, that's leveraging every other ad type. And then this one, I think, has really popped up over the past 6 to 9 months. And as is the Marketing Cloud as a whole, right? When they released that new to brand metric, because the Marketing Cloud has been around for like 5 years, right?
Something like that, yes.
When they launched their new to brand metric within the Marketing Cloud, a lot of people sat up and like, hey, wait, we need to take a look into that. And that's, I think, driving a lot of curiosity on how much they can pull out, which then makes what you're doing all of a sudden make sense, as opposed to, hey, is it worth it? How targeted? I'm going to waste money. Where's the money going to come from? And to think of it as another opportunity to grab more inventory that's underutilized today to consistently get in front of the exact customer that you want. I mean, everybody's got to be looking into it. Even if you're at a small brand, I would totally still look into it to understand it as a whole. I mean, I've been picking your brain a lot for a while. Like, any questions for me?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm wondering is to what extent do you hear from brands that are very active on Amazon, thinking about Amazon TV ads, but are actively using their TV efforts and TV strategies across other channels?
So,
and what might those other channels be?
So the streaming TV, the Amazon streaming TV ads, even streaming TV as a whole is underutilized across the board. And it's because what's really happened is as that's popped up at the same time, marketing teams have been really pushed to justify spend and show data. And outside of Amazon, that gets really, really difficult. I have some people that are successful on like YouTube, right? But outside of that, it's really, really hard to show the level of conversion that Amazon marketing channels can show. So it just doesn't come up. People have been, I think, purposely ignoring it in a way where they've got so much on their plate right now, and there's so many demands, and they don't want to have to look at another channel. Now, if you can show them a channel that's going to work and can give data that supports it, they're going to be all in. But other than that, they just haven't for the past couple of years. So when you look at the traditional TV ad, that was a different budget. There's a streaming TV that came from traditional performance marketing, but it's not real. It is kind of performance marketing. I think it is because of how targeted you get on streaming. Like if you're using like a mountain platform or something like that to get really targeted. But it's hard to pull all of the data out to show that it's working. And there's a lot of churn on those platforms. Yeah. So I think
that's a good example of like one of those products. Like you mentioned Mountain. That's not a good example of a company that, to their credit, have grown very significantly. But Mountain is really only able to capture sales on your D2C channel.
Yep.
And that's the uniqueness of Amazon, is that through Amazon's ad tech, you're able to capture sales both on Amazon and your D2C channel. And they're uniquely able to do that because, of course, they're Amazon.
Or Amazon. So I think so what's the next inhibiting factor with even just even on Amazon? It's just the technology and being able to make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why when we reconnected, I was like, whoa, we need to do a podcast on this. Because people, I think, want to leverage it. They see that they know that streaming, again, cable TV slowly dying off, traditional. And they're looking for, hey, I know people are spending a lot of time watching still on a large screen,
Mm-hmm.
but through streaming services, especially Amazon Prime. Now, the interesting thing is, will the inventory that's available, is that going to jump out to even like Disney Plus? Are you going to be able to start advertising on other streaming?
You can. So many people don't know this, Aaron. So I'm glad you brought this up. So Amazon has a partnership with Amazon has been working on building out their supply side partnership ecosystem. So they have Amazon Publisher Direct, in which Amazon has direct relationships with a wide variety of publishers. That's always existed. So as I mentioned before, Amazon Prime Video ads existed. You could advertise on Amazon Fire TV properties or Prime Video properties across third-party apps and channels. But Amazon also has a partnership with a company called Magnite, which is an SSP. And Magnite aggregates a bunch of other premium TV supply sources. So literally right now, a brand can buy Disney Plus or Hulu streaming TV inventory using the Amazon DSP. And what that means is all of the benefits that we just mentioned of advanced audience creation, first-party data collaboration, and deterministic outcome-based measurement across both Amazon and D2C channels are not just limited to Amazon Prime Video as a premium streaming TV source, but you can do that on Disney Plus. And I think I'm allowed to say this, I might not be, so I might get in trouble. But on account of the Magnite and Netflix partnership, you'll be able to buy Netflix ads using the Amazon DSP in early 2025, which is crazy, right? So very quickly, if you're a transactional brand who, again, has a significant amount of sales coming from Amazon and first-party channels, Amazon's ad tech should be capturing a lot more of your TV strategy, because not only are they unlocking Prime Video as an inventory source, but all premium TV streaming inventory sources will be enabled via the Amazon DSP in the not too distant future. And so that's the opportunity for Amazon, is capturing all of that. And so it's really an exciting time. And not many people know about this. I might get in trouble for saying this. I hope I don't. But that exists right now for Disney Plus and for Netflix in the not too distant future.
Wow. I mean, that means if you are a household name, you have to be incorporating this, period. I have like 15 people to call when we wrap this up.
Yeah, it's pretty impactful. And then again, the benefit of consolidating all of this into Amazon's DSP is one, again, improved measurement and transactions, but a two important TV metrics are reach and frequency. And so if you slice and dice your TV efforts across a variety of different places, whether it be YouTube, Mountain, or Amazon, and it gets a third, then you're going to have unique metrics for reach and frequency across all of those channels. But if you consolidate all of that into Amazon, you're going to get unified reach and frequency across all of your TV inventory sources. You just have to buy it all within Amazon's DSP, which is, by the way, exactly what they want you to do. They're just providing more and more reasons for you to do so.
That is, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's an exciting time.
Being Amazon. they continue to grow. And I always laugh because on the brand side and the vendor side, there's such a pain to deal with. But on the advertising side, what they're able to do, like marketers, they love it actually. I don't know how many people actually would admit that, but in conversations I'm having, they're like, "Hey, I can at least get data out, right? I can at least get it."
Well, the not so dirty secret is if you're having trouble on the retail side, don't go to your retail rep who likely won't respond to you, but go to your ads rep.
Yeah,
because they're always down to chat.
Yeah,
they'll sell you something, but they're always down to chat. And if you're spending enough on ads, they'll get the person to call on the retail side to solve your problem.
Yes, for sure. It's awesome. Well, Adam, my friend, this has been absolutely fantastic. We're right here at time. Really love the conversation. Really like what you've built here at GG. Where do people find you as a whole? Look you up on LinkedIn or website?
Sure,
or?
LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. Adam Epstein. We're ggco.tv. Feel free to check us out. We're starting to come out with a lot more content, some educational content. Like this past week, we came out with content guiding people into how to use the Amazon ad tag property and the benefits and drawbacks of doing so. We're going to talk a lot about data collaboration and what that means, but we spoke about a bit here. But yeah, would love to chat about TV strategy more broadly. And Aaron, thanks so much for having me. It's always great to catch up.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping on and for your time today. With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Digital Deep Dive. Thanks everybody for listening in.